Good morning and welcome. I'm Stephanie Bradshaw and I'm the Director of Sales at CCB Technology. Today's kicking off our leadership webinar series, and we are super excited that you are all here with us. Now I'll introduce you to who you will be hearing from today. On the left of your screen is Patrick Booth, President and CEO of CCB Technology. In the middle, that's my manager, Steve Shear, our VP of Sales, although he's going to look a bit different once you see that quarantine hair. And I'm on the right. As questions pop up, please direct them to me, Stephanie, in the chat, and we will field as many of those as we can towards the end. Before we jump into the content of the webinar, a quick snapshot of who we are and what we're all about. We pride ourselves on simplifying IT through the procurement of IT products and streamlining managed IT and help desk services. This is so our customers can focus on their missions. And we've been doing it for 29 years, which is pretty darn exciting. With that, I'll pass it over to Steve and then Patrick for the content of today's webinar.
All right, thanks, Stephanie. I appreciate it. So I am Steve Shear, and just as a heads up, Miracle Grow, just dump it on your head. Quarantine over. You don't need to worry about male pattern baldness or any of that. So what is the impact of leadership? Well, we believe at CCB that there are two sides of the house for every organization, regardless of your tax code. And this comes straight from Patrick. So two sides to each organization that we feel like we can influence. So the IT side, which is what we've been doing for the last 29 years, and then the leadership side. And the impact of leadership is a division of CCB Technology that really focuses on building the leadership side of the house. So we help leaders develop the character, the courage, wisdom, and humor to lead their teams to victory. That's really our just cause, to steal a phrase from Simon Sinek. So we do this by equipping people with the right skills and connecting them with the best resources, whether it's us or somebody outside of us, in order to empower them as leaders. So basically, in layman's terms, we help leaders while having fun. So for this presentation, we're going to be talking about culture. Now, you're not going to have everything answered during this webinar, but I put together a working definition of culture because I like to know what's the baseline. What are we talking about here? So if you walk away with what culture is, in my opinion, it's the heartbeat of your organization. So this is an indicator of your organization's health. And so just like a human body, so your heart goes, so goes the rest of your body. So what is the current pulse of your organization? Is it strong? Is it erratic? Are you bouncing around like Homer Simpson is right now? Is it weak, irregular, dying, somewhere in between? Well, the next two slides are going to have questions that will help you gauge your current state. And as a heads up, these questions are not designed to give you a diagnosis of what's going on at your place of work. It's actually just a way to gauge the strength of your current heartbeat, your current pulse. So some interactive portion on your part, so you can take out your pen or whatever you're taking notes on, and you can start ranking based on 1 to 10 how you view your organization's response to these following questions. So how is failure viewed at your organization? 1 to 10. Now 1, horrible. 5, okay. 10, perfect. How well is healthy conflict embraced? And I also should have said, if you currently hold a title that comes with some weight or authority, I would ask that you suspend judgment of your employees, whether they're on this call or you do this activity with them after the call. Just let people tell you what their numbers were, because you got to know where you're at in order to know where you're going. Next question, how often are employees referring people to your organization for employment? 1 to 10. It's happening all the time. 10, never. Number 1. How consistent is accountability? If you're like, yeah, what's accountability? Put down maybe a 2, 2.5. All right, we're going to keep rolling. How much does your organization value trust? 1 to 10. How are responses to moving day, marriage, birthdays, new babies? So if this is like a shock to you, like I don't even know my employees or colleagues' names, probably a 1. If you're like, yeah, I knew that my rep's baby was going to be born early, you might be a 9 or a 10. How are ideas and brainstorming viewed at your organization? How open are people to new ideas? Last one I've got here is how much fun is present in a calendar year. So what you can do is take your numbers, divide them by 8, then you've got your rough number just to gauge. Again, this is not a diagnosis, this is just to gauge. And the hope is over the next several slides, as I turn it over to Patrick, that you get some tips, some hope, and some practical application to increase the strength of the heartbeat of your organization. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Patrick for the remainder of the presentation.
Thanks, Steve and Stephanie, for getting us going. So this is where I hope the wheels don't come off with me taking over now and being the presenter for all of you. But thank you for joining us. So look at this kid. This is me back in 2013 when I became president of CCB. And my wife asked me when I came home and told her I accepted the position, which note to self, you should probably talk to your spouse before you accept the position. I learned on that one. But she said, why did you say yes? And I said, well, number one, I want to give people a great place to work. Let me correct that. Not just a great place where they work. I want them to love where they work. I used to go to dinner get-togethers and I would ask so-and-so what they did and they would tell me and I'd say, would you like it? I'm like, yeah, the job's okay. Would you like the company? Nah, not really. And I would say, well, why don't you leave? It's too hard, too complicated. I've invested too much time. And I'm like, wow. But I kept hearing that over and over again, that people were kind of just stuck in their jobs. They were bored. They didn't feel valued. And I thought, how do I be a better leader than that? So in the questions that Steve just gave you, all of you, hopefully you've wrote down those answers and were honest. And then maybe ask those questions to some of your coworkers or your staff and just see what they rank it as. Do a survey monkey where it's anonymous, but just get a good gauge because sometimes as leaders, we don't know. But give them a great place to work, and I think you will keep them for a long time. The other thing I wanted to do was create a CCB's legacy. So I'm going to talk to you about how we did all of this pre-COVID-19 and what we're doing since COVID-19. So number one, before all this happened, the things I started realizing back in 2013, because we've always did a birthday celebration of some kind, we would bring in like a cake for the month, was giving people an actual paid day off for their birthday. This was something that maybe all of you or have heard of before, but for me, it was implementing something new. And it was a little scary because, wait a minute, you're giving them more time off? It was, but this is their birthday. This is the day that really tells them that you value them, which going back to what I said earlier, people are bored in their jobs oftentimes, or they don't feel valued. Giving them a birthday PTO day, and they can use it anytime. They don't have to use it on their birthday. Obviously, that would be great, and I would personally like to do it myself that day. But if they want to save it for another time, good for them. Another thing we did, again, before all this happened was summer hours. Now, we have been around for almost 30 years. And again, we had never done summer hours until 2013. Actually, I think it was past that. And it was after I talked with staff that they said, you know, Patrick, it would be really nice if we could do this. And I'll be honest with you, my first reaction was nope, not going to do it. What if we lose a big order on Friday afternoon at 3:30? That fear had me stuck. And then I started realizing that my people really needed to have something to look forward to, especially in Wisconsin, where the weather's not great all the time. And maybe you're in Florida and you have great weather often, but they still want to have something that they can look forward to, which I think is super important. And do they feel valued? So this was an idea that we did, and it's worked great. And I can tell you, we haven't missed any business, or we haven't had us get hurt by it. And I told them very upfront, as a leader, I think we have to be. We can try new things, but if it doesn't work, then we can't do it. But so far, it's been going great. Kyle Jolly, he's one of our directors at CCB. He's been with us 11 years. He's our sales operations in his current role right now. But this quote is something that I really has encouraged me as a leader, which is, it's one thing if you love your job. It's another thing if your family, kids, loved ones, heck, even your pets love it. Big difference. So how do we make that happen? Well, I think as leaders, we have to keep brainstorming. What got us here won't get us there. And that was the phrase that we put on this promoting this webinar series. And I just hope all of you are taking notes after this webinar series of just brainstorm. What can we do to continue to help our employees feel valued and appreciated and loved? And how do we help their families? So a couple things we've done. We've done baseball events. with the families, as you can see there. Here's another, this is Tim Prust. He's the man behind, one of the man behind the curtain, along with Jacob Trowski. But this is him teaching baseball, or talking about baseball with Jackson, his son. Mini golf. We started doing more summertime events, getting people outside as a company, which was great. So we would have appetizers, just a little mini golf. And if you didn't like mini golf, we had like cornhole. Who doesn't like cornhole? We also did axe throwing. Now, this is a department. We actually started encouraging departments, not just CCB doing it, but how do we encourage departments to maybe even come together? And a couple managers are not part of the services team, but we're in there together, spending time with the services department so we can all get to know each other better. And this is our Christmas party. Now, again, thinking outside the box. I guess whether you're pre-COVID-19, now we're in the middle of it all, how can you think outside the box? We did a Christmas luau party, and this was us having a good time because it was cold in Wisconsin and it's not so fun. But how do you continue to help people feel excited and energized, especially during the holidays when everyone's stressed? We did a luau. And then one of the other key things I found from the employees is, how do you give back to the community? So whether you're pre-COVID or now in the middle of all of it, there's a lot of things we can be doing to support our communities. This is us actually bringing some interns in from our local school district. And this was a signing day that we brought the parents in. We brought in some of the teachers and the staff. We brought in our local RAMAC Chamber of Commerce. And this was a great day to just make them feel valued and appreciated, that they weren't just coming in as interns just to do a job that was going to basically give them some experience on their resume, but to make them feel like they were really valued. And it's been a great experience all the way around for both sides. So that was all before. Now, the whole point of this webinar series was, what do we do now, Patrick? I can't do axe throwing. I can't do mini golf. So I just gave you all the things that you could do when we get back to being normal, that I would encourage all of you. What have we learned from this? One, we really need to enjoy life. We never know when things could change. So maybe you wrote down some of these ideas, and those are ideas you can plan when we get back to being normal. But this is an example of what we did while we've been going through this time. This is us, a screenshot of us having a happy hour on Fridays at 4 o'clock. We're bringing everyone together on the company. And this isn't the whole company, but it's quite a few people, you can see. And we do a happy hour of, bring your drink of choice. It could be water, soda, or another beverage of your choice. And then we do games. So one of the games that we did was a scavenger hunt. This was awesome. Olivia and Tim ran it, and they would give us an opportunity, and they gave us a list, and we would have to go collect, and each of the items on the list was a point, and you had to go find it in your house. Now, nobody had this list until that time at happy hour. So for instance, one of them was a salt and pepper shaker. That's kind of unique. I actually have mine still. Here it is. This is my owl. So this is a salt and pepper shaker. I know, kind of cute and a little different. But that's what I keep at my desk to remind me that we have a really good time doing fun games. And this is something we've never done before like this. So we had to think outside the box. The other thing is, we've done Family Feud, trivia questions. And then recently, we've asked everyone to submit a baby picture. So I don't know what marketing's got planned, but again, having the creativity come out in other departments, and I would encourage you, this doesn't have to come all from you. I didn't create any of this. I mean, I had some ideas, but my marketing team has done a phenomenal job. Find a way to bring in other leaders in your department to be creative. Town hall meetings. This is something I wanted to do early on when I launched in January, the kickoff meeting. I said, we're going to start doing regular department meetings with me so you can ask me questions. Wow, I had no idea that we would be here today working remote for now. This is our beginning of our 5th week here at CCB. And the town hall meetings are now scheduled every other week, with me doing a video chat just like we're doing right now with Zoom. And there's been incredible questions that have come out, especially during a lot of this unknown. And I knew it was going to be important, but obviously right now, there's so much unclearness of where we're going and how long this is going to be, which is a lot of the questions I get every week when we do these. How do you help give, I guess, information that makes people feel comfortable? Which again, we have a lot more in future series to talk about this, but in the town hall meetings, I started talking about the questions about, how's our pipeline? How's our finances? Have you applied for the PPP loan? You know, when do you think we're going to be back to being normal, Patrick? And sometimes you just have to give the full, honest answer, I don't know. And as a leader, that scares me every single time I have to say that. But I'd rather be honest with my team than to make up something and then be false hope, right? I would encourage all of you, take the time, sit down and talk with them. Now, sometimes these town hall meetings, there's a couple questions in the beginning, and then it turns into just socializing. There's nothing wrong with that. It'd be like us coming into the break room and us seeing people and talking. And sometimes employees just need to know that you can be comfortable with them and that you care and that you can ask them, how was your family? What'd you do for Easter? And I know there's always that nervousness of, well, it wasn't as good as it's been in the past. You're right. It's different this year. But then somebody might say, yeah, but you know what? We got on a FaceTime with our families and we did a chat, and it was great to see everyone. So I guess my encouragement to all of you is go ahead and lean in, have the town hall meetings with your departments. They need to hear from you as a leader. And I think just be honest and help encourage them. That's the best thing you can do. All right, this is something that I have been enjoying. I don't know if my staff isn't enjoying it as much as I am, but I'm doing daily CEO videos to start the day for my employees. So I get up and I get dressed and I do the video. Now, on the left-hand side, you can see this video is about me answering the question, is our dress policy still enforced? Yes. So my point is you can still answer questions and have fun. At CCB, whether it's on the IT side of the house or the impact of leadership side, we do believe in having fun. So I did a quick video of my hair being all messed up, and then I said, yes, you might think you're ready for the day, but obviously I'm not. And then I spliced the video and I went right over to the other side where you can see I've gotten ready for the day. So have fun while giving the message and answering questions. And I think your employees, again, I'm going to say it again, people want to feel valued and they want to be entertained. So be creative. All right. So what are some of the results we've seen so far? Well, we have seen a great improvement in mental state. In the beginning, everyone was nervous, and some people were mad that they had to work from home. And I get it. I was frustrated. I didn't know what was going to happen. But by doing these small things like happy hours and games and videos, I have seen great improvement with people being positive. Next, increasing your communication is so important. I know that we can always get better when it comes to communicating, right? But especially now, there's so many things that come out every day on the news. And then during the week, things will change and people just don't know. There's so much uncertainty. So if you can just keep that communication flowing across the board, whether it's to the company, in departments, to your staff, I really do believe it will help people feel that they're not just in a moment of confusion and chaos. They actually feel like they're making headway. Also, pulling together on the rope. Now, I think we all know that phrase. We've all pictured that where you got people working together or everyone's in the boat rowing, whatever illustration you want to use. I saw this happen great at CCB. We've been having to come up with new things like this webinar series. This was not on our plan to do right now, but we felt like we needed to do something on the IT side of the house, which we have been doing for the last couple of weeks. And then we said, what about the leadership side? So my marketing and sales team, along with IT, we came together and we were able to create these series because we worked well, but we had to work quickly and together. So it brought unity to the group. So I would say use the message of unity right now. And then starting new traditions, as I've already said about the happy hour. I've already been asked, can we continue the happy hour, Patrick, every Friday at 4 o'clock? And my answer is, I'll think about it. You don't have to promise everything to keep people happy. I've had to learn that the hard way because I am a people pleaser, guilty. I try to make everyone happy and I can't. Maybe we'll do the happy hour from now on, but I know this. I have to keep thinking outside the box. Even when we go back to being normal, there is no new normal anymore. We're going to have to go back and we're going to have to learn. So now what are we going to do, right? Moving forward. My encouragement to you is just take one step. Just do something. Now, Patrick, where do I start? Well, you could do a video. Maybe something I've said today has triggered your mind to think about doing something fun. Send an email to your staff or your departments. Handwrite notes. Steve did this recently, and I know that people really have appreciated it, just knowing you value them. And gift cards. If you have that opportunity and you feel comfortable going out and getting gift cards, maybe you drop a gift card off at somebody's house because they did something great to encourage your company, or maybe they did something to help you achieve success during this time. I just think people need to continue to feel encouraged. And then lastly, let the results come from your strength of your company's culture. Just because CCB does things this way does not mean you have to. I think be you. And I know that a lot of times people are like, yeah, but maybe this isn't your strength. Well, then I would encourage you, talk to other people in your company that maybe could give you ideas and maybe they can run with it. Again, as a leader, it's your opportunity to empower others. Well, that's all I had. I'm going to go ahead and turn this back over to Steph for Q&A.
All right, I do have two questions here, Patrick. The first one is asking about what you think is the best idea to implement during these remote times.
Yeah, the best idea I think is for sure, if I had to pick one thing, I would say the town hall meetings. I think that communication is super important right now for departments to be able to feel like they can talk to you as a leader one-on-one and basically be able to ask any questions that they just have in their minds. Again, to be unclear is unkind, as we have heard over and over again, and we say it at CCB quite often. So I would just say give them the opportunity to ask you questions.
That's good, good. I do have one more. It's along the same lines. It asks about the frequency of the communication throughout your departments to their teams. How often are department leaders communicating with their team members during these new times?
Yeah, so I've allowed leaders, good question, to kind of be able to monitor what makes sense for their departments. So Logan McClure, our VP of Services, has 2 huddle meetings each day. One is at 8:30 in the morning, and I believe one is at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And the huddle meetings are an opportunity for them to talk about as a team what they're going to be working on that day. As services, these are people that as engineers have to really lean on each other and really communicate well to give updates on where they are on the projects or even get insights from each other. So that's been a great thing. The other thing I heard in town hall meetings that came out of services is I heard a couple people say that they feel like they're communicating now more than they ever had been when they were in the office. And then they said it's the huddle meetings that have made a huge difference. Now, I know sales, you guys also do 2 meetings a day. You believe you do a kickoff at 9 and then you do one at 4 o'clock. And again, Steve Shear, our VP of Sales, has done mental state check-ins of 1 to 10. Obviously, we like that range. But 10, I'm doing awesome. And I think working is just going great right now remotely. Or 1, I'm ready to quit my job because of this. So we've been able to ask that question almost every day just to make sure we know where everyone's at. And then I think marketing, they do theirs once a day. So again, it's that opportunity to connect. And sometimes it's strategizing about business, and other times it's just the group coming together and just talking to each other and laughing. I can't stress that enough. I think humor is the key to happiness in life. So you have to be able to laugh together. So I would encourage you, be flexible. Not every day has to be, let's come up with a plan to solve the world's problems for our business. Maybe you just need to laugh together.
And I do have one more question that just came in from Carolyn, and it asks about overcoming challenges with less active teams, and particularly those with a variety of ages and generations.
Okay, so how to overcome some of
Yeah,
those differences?
yeah,
Well, that could be tricky. You know, at CCB, we do have a variety of different age groups and different personalities. So not everyone's going to like everything. I would just say start maybe with doing something that you guys could do as a team, like a video game, happy hour type of thing where you bring people together. And it's just, when I say happy hour, it does not have to be involved with alcohol. It could be just getting together and just having a happy meeting together. But I would find something that we all could probably enjoy. Trivia Pursuit is my wife's favorite game. It's not my favorite, but it is hers. The nice thing about it is I get used for all the sports categories. So maybe you do some type of trivia that could give some humor that can involve everyone with. Or show and tell. I think we did that once where we had bring something to the video chat that you could share that's something you're really proud of and maybe talk about it. Again, it gives people that opportunity to connect with others. So you don't have to be, I think, like everything the same, but give people that chance to just show who they are in their hearts. And I think that will bring the team together.
great. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so that's all for the questions, Patrick. As we begin to wrap up, let's take a look at what's coming up in this webinar series. On your screen now, you can see that on Friday we have a special guest, Ted Bolsinger. The webinar title is Leading in Uncharted Territory. You also want to make sure to note the other April dates. All webinars are on a Monday or a Friday through the rest of the month. And speaking of our special guest this coming Friday, I highly suggest you find the time to listen to our podcast with him on transformational leadership. It was so good, we actually broke it into 2 episodes, number 52 and number 53. You can start listening by making your way to the web address at the bottom of the screen right now, ccbtechnology.com/podcast. We've talked quite a bit about leadership today. If you want to learn more about our technology side of the business, you can also check us out online at ccbtechnology.com. And as you think about what we've heard today, what Patrick and Steve talked about, if you have additional questions or if you have feedback for us, please reach out. Patrick and Steve's contact information is actually on the screen right now. Quick, write it down. They love spam, so go for it. Spam them all day long. They're both on LinkedIn also if you want to reach out there. And sincerely, we really want to hear your success stories. We'd love to hear the things that you learned today. And that's all we have for today's webinar. We look forward to talking with you again this Friday, the 17th at 10 a.m. Central Time. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and thank you for joining us today.